Hello, everyone. Um, Good day, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm really happy to be leading this panel, and there are some really interesting people ahead. So buckle up for a really interesting conversation. So before I begin, I'm going to share my screen. So here we go. There. First, we have an introduction to the Youth for Road Safety, or yours. So as was mentioned earlier, we have partnered with the IRF to bring you this very interesting summit. And I would like to start this presentation with some facts about road safety. So first of all, annually, the number for total road-related deaths and injuries come to over 1.2 million worldwide. One third of this number are from young people aged 15 to 29 years old. So if we break that down, in a year, over 350,000 young people die every year. If you break that down daily, over close to 1,000 young people are losing their lives on the roads. So this is very alarming. These are young people with dreams, with goals, with passions, and they are losing their lives and their dreams and their opportunities on the roads. And we at the Youth for Road Safety and the Global Youth Coalition believe that it's about time that we start acting on this issue. So where does yours come in? Yours is a nonprofit organization that engages and empowers youth to become road safety leaders and activists. Yours connects with youth, mobilizing and training them to be road safety leaders and advocates in their respective communities. So here are some of the projects of yours. These are interactive workshops. So this is from Iceland. So the capacity development training for young leaders, yours has workshops designed to empower young people to take evidence-based road safety actions and put youth at the center of the decision-making table on road safety decisions that affect their lives. So we've gone global. So right here are some of the sessions we have here in Belize and the first one in Iceland. So the yours workshops are very interactive. It uses music, art, expression, role play, and other real-life demonstrations. This gives youth a unique insight into the world of road safety and sustainable mobility. And ever since yours was created, it has worked hard to provide young people with opportunities to grow, connect, and learn. One of these opportunities happened earlier this year in the form of the Second World Youth Assembly for Road Safety. It was held in Stockholm, Sweden. So true to the goals of the Youth for Road Safety, yours, the Second World Youth Assembly was led by youth. It was youth-driven from a task force that comes from young people all over the world. Yours gathered this group of young people from different parts of the world with different expertise, all connected to road safety. The WYA Assembly gathered youth and other road safety advocates from all over the world and gave them the opportunity to connect and learn about road-related issues and solutions from different perspectives in different regions and from a multitude of sectors. So here we have some of the members during the assembly. So the assembly had two significant outputs. First is the Global Youth Statement for Road Safety. The Global Youth Statement for Road Safety presents a list of demands and commitments of the youth presented to global leaders and decision makers, calling them to address global road safety issues by engaging and connecting with youth, by giving them a place at the decision-making table. That's the first output. The second output is the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety. How did we get here? So what's the story behind the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety? How did it happen? Of the 160 plus youth delegates from the 74 countries, all of the delegates agreed that they wanted to be part of the coalition, that a coalition for road safety that can take their concerted efforts and build their skills and allow them to stay in touch, make connections, and exchange knowledge and experiences with other leaders interested in the same field. The coalition unites individual youth and different youth-led organizations in an informal, member-based structures guided by key principles, with focus on meaningful youth participation and safe mobility. So these are our principles: global advocacy, local actions, and support structure. These will be key and important factors in our goals to achieve 50 by 30, which is SDG target 3.6, having the number of road-related deaths and injuries by the year 2030. So what is our main goal? The main goal of the coalition is to energize the global youth movement for road safety that contributes in saving lives and reducing fatalities. We at Yours and the Global Youth Coalition believe that youth have the capacity to energize the global road safety movement. And for that, we strongly believe that youth are key players in making this goal a reality. So as I mentioned, here are the two goals of the coalition. But apart from these two goals, which is target 3.6, having the number of road-related deaths by the year 2030, and target 11.2, providing access to safe, sustainable, affordable, accessible transport systems for all. We also have targets related to SDG 3, health, SDG 4, education, SDG 10, reduced inequalities, SDG 11, sustainable cities, and SDG 13, climate action. So all of these targets and goals encompass the road safety field. So yes, the coalition is led by the youth. So the Youth Advisory Board. These are the then Global Youth Task Force members turned Global Youth Advisory Board. The Youth Advisory Board will be the focal points and the engine of the Youth Coalition for Road Safety. Youth will have the opportunity to weigh in directly on how the local actions and the global advocacy strategies are run. That's what we need. So, okay, before I end this little introduction, I would like to invite everyone who are interested in joining the road safety movement to connect with us by visiting www.claimingourspace.org. If you know anyone who is interested or who wants to be involved with road safety, please connect with us, join us. We are very active on our social media pages. You have that down below. And we would very much like to get to know everyone and start working on reducing the number of road-related deaths and injuries by year 2030. So that's the little introduction we have. So now I would like to present the amazing panelists I have for this session, for the Yours panel. So I would like to introduce them briefly, and I would like them to give a little short message before I proceed to the next speaker. So first we have Bashiru Mansaray. So Bashiru is a tech social entrepreneur. He founded Open Space Corporation, or OS Corp, in Sierra Leone. OS Corp is a tech company that helps young people start their own enterprise by providing a way to easily register startups, access to technological tools, resources, and networks. So OS Corp also provides a platform which supports young entrepreneurs, therefore solving the problem of a lack of infrastructure and support for startups in Sierra Leone. So Bashiru, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit? Say hi to the people.
Everyone, my name is Bashiru Mansaray, and I'm the founder of OS Corp. So I think Maureen just said everything that I need to be said. I don't want to take much time to do.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, okay, up next we have Allison Collar de Buford. Allison is a road safety advocate and is the founder and executive director of the Vision Zero Youth Council. The Youth Council is a fully youth-led organization that educates youth on traffic safety and empowers them to become vocal activists for safer streets and engages them in working with local schools, nonprofits, and elected officials to reach their traffic safety goals. So, Allison, would you like to say a little something?
Hi guys, I think you covered everything, Rana. Thank you.
Yeah. So okay, up next, last but not least, we have Tomwine Hosea. So Hosea currently works as a national representative for restless development at the SRHR Alliance Uganda, is a Western regional representative under the National Youth Engagement Network, and a fellow under Teach for Uganda, and a community development officer at the Resilient Women's Organization. So hi there, Tomwine. Are you there? Okay, I think his microphone is off.
Hey.
So, okay.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, doing good. Okay, so everyone, before we start. Okay. Okay, so everyone, before we start, if you have any questions you want to ask our panelists, the chat room is open. You can send in your questions there, where my colleague from Yours, Ms. Raquel Barrios, will take the questions. And and we will be asking them to our panelists a little later on. So I think we should kick the discussion off. So for the panelists, my first question is about the COVID-19 pandemic. So the COVID-19 pandemic has hit us, the youth, hard. It hasn't just affected our daily routines, it has also affected our work, studies, and opportunities to continue different projects. The three of you have developed or worked under great employability models within your field and interest. So could you share your experience on developing or finding employment opportunities for yourself and for youth in general? So apart from that, how do you think youth advocacy, participation, and commitments can continue with their tasks and commitments despite global restrictions? So I think I'll start with Allison.
Awesome, thank you. So I think that's a very, very relevant question, and it's important that we discuss it because, again, as you said, it impacts all of us. And the Vision Zero Youth Council's model is based off of networking with our peers, with young professionals in the field, anyone who is involved or could be involved in road safety advocacy. We try to create partnerships with them straight from the beginning. So that creates these relationships between youth and these employment opportunities, which we then throughout time become like have an easier access to because we're connected and we have this already grown network of our peers that we can work with. And as for your second question about adapting to these global restrictions, I think the whole world has adapted pretty well to a remote model, and especially coming from the United States where we've adapted to life with COVID. We can't travel, we can't really do much in terms of meeting with others, but in my opinion, that just means that we can take that energy and instead put it towards fighting even harder. And we have these wonderful webinars and online events to just keep the movement going. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Allison. I particularly like the part where you said that we should take this opportunity to gather that energy so that we can use it for fighting the good fight. So thank you very much for sharing your answer with us. So same question, I'm passing it on to Bashiru.
Hello, everyone again. So regarding the question in terms of job opportunity, that's have been one thing that's really disturbing people here in Sierra Leone because the job opportunity here is like one of the biggest issue, especially young people are facing here. So I'm one of the people that actually were looking for job, but I couldn't get it because of the huge line and sometimes you need to know other people before you can get into the job. So what I decided is that why don't I create my own company, even if it's a startup, so that I can at least employ myself and then employ other people. But as I keep going, I realized that the number of people I can employ is very limited. Like, for example, it's a startup, I can't employ more than 10 people, yeah? So I started thinking on how I can expand or how I can support other entrepreneurs or create other things that will employ more young people. And then we shift off because we were just focused on creating tech tools, but now we include entrepreneurship into our company, wherein we don't just create technological tools or softwares, but we also provide entrepreneurship support and we build platforms like the OS Hub, which Maureen, you saw that I was featured in some of these blogs. So OS Hub is practically help young people that have their own businesses so that they can use it for free to manage their businesses, create projects, provide job to other people. So basically, we came from creating jobs to support other entrepreneurs also to create more jobs, because we know that's really needed. And for the second question relating to the restrictions, I think that's why we came out with OS Hub, because a lot of people, especially those startups, they tell us, well, we have to close down our company because now there are so many restrictions, you know, people can't come to work, or they have been asked for us to lock down or these things. So that's why we actually created OS Hub, because OS Hub is like a virtual workspace. You use it to work remotely with your co-workers, and also clients can go there and look for businesses that they can buy stuff from or connect with, or entrepreneurs can connect with other entrepreneurs. We have a lot of tools there, but OS Hub is mainly because of this COVID-19. So that's why we created OS Hub, so that people will not be restricted, even if they're being restricted for not going to places, but they can still work while working from home or anywhere else. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bashiru. I think that's a really, really interesting story of how OS Corp came to be. The story of how you couldn't find work so that you created one is a perfect solution to the problem. And you did not only help yourself, but you also helped others who have been struggling with the same problem. So that really shows the ingenuity and the creativity of youth. So I would like to offer Tamwine the same question. So Tamwine, can you, what do you think? What do you think of the COVID-19 pandemic and how it affects the youth, our opportunities, and the employment that you're currently under? You're on mute if you're speaking. Okay, I think Tom Wine has cut out. So maybe if he comes back, he can answer the question. But for now, I would like to ask my colleague Raquel if we have any questions from our audiences. Do we have any questions right now? And if we don't have any, I think we can proceed with the second question so that we can just work our way to what we have. So if it's okay with you, Allison and Bashiru, we can start with the second question. Is that okay? Okay, cool. So, okay. So the second question is from the perspective of road safety. Since I have been working closely with road safety groups and individuals, I have learned that road safety and sustainable mobility encompasses a lot of other fields. And apart from the obvious impacts in life, it also encompasses the global goals. And as I mentioned, those are included in SDG 3, 4, 10, 11, and 13. So my question to the panelists are, how do you think safe roads and sustainable mobility affect the progress and development in your field? And how does it affect the leaders you're working with and the opportunities that your group or organization wants to put forward? So first, I think we can go with Allison again.
So as you said, road safety encompasses a whole wide variety of major global issues, and sustainable mobility is interconnected with these issues, and thus it's hard to not be affected by these, whether directly or indirectly. So for example, as youth, it can affect our access to education. It can affect our access to job opportunities, as we were discussing earlier, which is even more, it's a bigger concern nowadays with coming out of COVID-19. And it affects our health, like air quality and individual movement. And how it affects each of us isn't like a one size fits all. It's very dependent on an individual's situation and where they live or where they're from and things like that. So I wouldn't say that there's one certain definition of how it affects progress and development, but it's clear that it does to a very, very high level.
So thank you, Allison. I just want to check if Tom Wine is with us right now. Tamwine, are you there? Okay, I think he's okay.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear us properly?
Yeah, can hear you now, Makasha.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome.
My network had gone.
Okay.
My network had
So-
gone, but I'm now on.
Okay, amazing. So we proceeded to the second question, where Allison just shared how the COVID pandemic, I mean the road safety and sustainable mobility, is involved with other fields, including climate, like cleaner air and our health, and the rest of the regular things that everyone does. So for you, I think we should go back with the first question about how the COVID-19 pandemic has
Yes.
affected your experience with employment, and how it affects the advocacy, the participation, and commitments of your group. So if you want, you can share the answer with us.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So I'm very happy for the fellow panelists and members here. My name is Tumwena Hosea, and I'm from Uganda. Well, for me and my fellow advocates in the field of SRHR, the pandemic has been of a great advantage to us. We've seen ourselves embracing the importance of technology. I can tell you people, social media is a very great thing. Social media is powerful. Social media is unavoidable. We've seen ourselves taking more spaces than we used to do actually, reaching out to more young people in these spaces. So I want to tell us members that we as young people, we need to take advantage of technology. We need to know how much we are writing. We need to know how much we are reading. So as Resilient Women's Organization, the pandemic helped us to come the first information on Facebook regarding COVID-19. And this is the very thing that we are still telling young people. Let's use social media to come first information. Secondly, as young people, this has been an advantage for us actually in Africa to embrace innovation in terms of agriculture, in terms of technology. I will give an example of my mother who is in village. This is the only time that she asked me how she can sell her tomatoes online using Facebook. This is something that she had never dreamt about. So technology have been of very great importance to us, and we attribute it to COVID-19. Then secondly, it has been of a disadvantage the other side. We've seen our young people that we address in terms of social productive rights and rights. It has been a disadvantage that we have now more young people who are getting pregnant and who are now getting into early marriages because we can't reach to them successfully like we used to be. However much, we are still also using Facebook, using social media platforms to keep on advocating, to keep on pushing for policies that work well for young people. So again, I don't know how much I can thank our government here for embracing technology. However much with the restrictions of paying OTT tax, I don't know how it is that side. And even the network, you can see me moving around up and down looking for network, because in deeper villages, this network is not there. In deeper villages, these people don't have televisions. In deeper villages, there are no radio stations. So how do we reach out to these young people? This is why I am in this area. This area is called Nawanguku, is inside Entebbe district. These young people actually don't even know what COVID means to them. They don't even know what a mask means to them. I think this has been a wake-up call to the government to think about people who are in rural areas. How can they really be helped? Thank you very much, Mao.
Thank you very much. That was really insightful. And again, it's really interesting how your organization is taking advantage of social media during this time of the pandemic, where it's very hard for everyone to connect. So we are connect physically, so we are connecting digitally. And although it has some benefits like reaching wider audiences, it does have some drawbacks. I would say that it does not quite give the same results as when you're speaking face to face, but it's still a good way to start. So thank you for that, Tamwine. So I think we should go back to the second question now and get Bashiru's answer about how safe roads and sustainable mobility affect his field and the leaders that he works with. So Bashiru, handing it over to you.
Okay. So because we are a tech company and most of our services okay, because we are a tech company and most of our services, I think all of our services actually is it's being powered by the cloud. So they are soft services actually, so not physical. So there is no need for like transportation and all of that. But when it comes to the people we work with, those are the entrepreneurs, especially in the production side, food, and I think there comes the needs of road safety. It comes in two ways: those in the rural areas, I mean in the villages, and those also in the city. So for those in the villages, they want to come with their product, like their fruits, their vegetables, to the city to sell. But also, if we don't have good roads, that affects them a lot. It affects them in two ways. One, which is the pricing, because they have to pay double or more expensive transportation to get to where they actually want to sell their products. And sometimes also, which is the second problem, sometimes they end up, crashing down the road, or something might happen, or, because of these potholes and all of that, their product might fall down, break, or something might happen to it. So that's one of that's the thing that really hurting the people from the villages in terms of the road safety, and also for people in the city, because there are things that comes from we need here that are being exported that we don't produce them from Sierra Leone. So these exported things comes first to the cities, and then they take it and migrate them to the villages. So the same issue that I just mentioned that affects the people from the village affects them also. That makes their products to go to the village really expensive. That's why we don't have a stable price here. Even if it's a short distance, like from the city to one town, you might see the difference in pricing is huge because of the problem they have with road safety. And just like the road safety for us here, within during COVID-19, we were a little bit affected. Company, we have been using like this virtual means of communications and all of that, but for our the people we work with, the other entrepreneurs, they have been affected. So I think road safety is something that we really need when it comes to our clients. And what are the measures that we're trying to put in place? We are working on coming up with an e-commerce platform, a multi-vendor online platform, just like eBay and all of this, for people in the rural areas and also here in the city, so that when someone needs a product, they can just go online and order for it, and we can take care of the shipments, so because we will partner with other road transportation agencies, and in our own ways, we'll be able to limit the expenditure, the money they pay, or the amount of fee they pay for the transportation. So I think that's one of the things we're trying to do. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Bashiru. I think that's really interesting. It's a real life application of what road safety means for people, especially those who live in low to middle income countries, because you need good roads in order to get food, in order to get resources, to get materials. If the roads are not safe, if they are faulty, if they are problematic, that could cause problems for people getting their materials, their resources, and it can cost them a lot more money if they want to ensure safe travels or travel at all. Sometimes safety isn't even insured. So we really need to address this. Thank you for sharing. So I just want to make sure if Tamwine is still here to answer the second question. So Tamwine, are you there? If you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, so I think. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Makshan.
Hello, are you there? Are you okay? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would just like to pass on. Yes. Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Hello.
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 Hello, Makshan.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes. Okay, so I just like
Oh
to
my
pass.
God.
I would just like to pass the second question on to you about how road safety and sustainable mobility affect your field. How do you think road safety affects the progress of development, and how it affects the people you are working with? Okay, so I think we're having a little problem. So we might just skip over and wait until his connection comes back on. So we have some questions from our audiences. So we have one for Allison. So Allison, the question is, do you think there are any lessons we can learn from COVID-19 and the initial lockdowns in terms of sustainable mobility?
Absolutely. I mean, I live in New York City, so when the pandemic first started, we saw an incredible shift from, I mean, New York City is a city that never sleeps. So we saw this huge shift from people who were constantly moving, constantly outside, constantly doing things, to no one on the streets, to the highways pretty much empty, to the streets pretty much empty. And I think it kind of gave individuals, but also our local governments, time to reflect on how our space is being used throughout the city. And coming out of those couple of months where we were hit with the pandemic pretty hard, we have implemented a variety of transformations throughout the city to try to adapt and to learn from the observations that we made during the pandemic. So, for example, some of the parking spaces on the street, because now there are less cars and the city is less crowded, those parking spaces are now being used for restaurants and for cafes and for people to just be able to sit outside and have more space and to social distance as well. And the same thing for roads and highways. A lot of urban planners and city planners have been discussing the fact that when no one has the ability to move anymore, there are thousands and thousands of miles of road that are going unused, and that there are definitely more sustainable and healthier ways for us to use that space. The question is just how, but it's clear that the pandemic has highlighted these drastic differences in our society and how we can move forward in a more efficient manner.
Okay, so thank you very much. It's really interesting because, as we know, the United States has a lot of has lots of vehicles because it's a developed country. So it's really interesting to see how they're utilizing the spaces, how they're taking this pandemic as a challenge to address these issues that we have experienced throughout our lives. So thank you. So I think I have a question for myself. I have a question for me, for the coalition. So this is the question. In South Africa, the funding for road safety is limited and is more focused in privileged communities. How can the Road Safety Coalition assist organizations here to enable inclusive road safety funding opportunities into these communities and unblock interventions? So, okay, so we have a lot. First of all, we want to, so this is an issue if you're how we can help vulnerable communities such as the youth. So we first begin by providing training and capacity development opportunities, resources for the youth, so they are equipped with the knowledge necessary to take a stand on these issues. We also have the Global Youth Statement, which we presented during the ministerial conference, that calls on global leaders to help to start including youth in road safety efforts. But more than this, we have projects that have to do with global and local actions. We are inviting our members to submit projects, any suggestions they want, if they need seed funding from the coalition. So as long as they present it in a way that is evidence-based and is very feasible. So if you the youth want help with the community with the projects regarding road safety, the first thing to do is connect with us, is to get educated, learn about the issue. Why do you say that this particular system in your specific community favors this specific group, and see what they need in order to start taking the issue on road safety more seriously. And from there, we will help however we can, and we will help however we can. So, okay. I think that's it. If you want to learn more, you can visit our website and connect with us, ask us some questions, and we'll be very happy to answer them all. So, okay, thank you. Thank you for the question. And now we have a question for Bashiru. So here's the question. How did your agency address the mobility issue in your locality? Because you mentioned that that the OS Corp can handle some requests, and you will provide the issue with shipping, and if they are not able to do it themselves. So the question for you is, how do you address the mobility issue? Bashiru, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I was
Okay.
trying to unmute myself, then I stopped
Okay.
the video.
It's okay.
Yeah. So actually, in terms of the commerce side, the e-commerce side, it's not on OS Hub. That's something we are developing. Like I said, we are trying to come up with a platform to address that. There are a lot of road transport agencies here that I think can handle these things. And so what these entrepreneurs or business people have to do, we will connect them with these road transport agencies. So they will just have to, package their product well, and then take it to these road transport agencies, and then they will come with it in our facility. So we will have like few of their product in our something like a warehouse or something, or any facility we produce. So like when someone order for a product, they don't have to wait until this business person take it from the province and come with it all the way. That will take a lot of times, and the safety of it is not even guaranteed. So we will only put on our platform the products that are already available within our facilities, so that it can be easily accessible, just like eBay and or Amazon does. So that's something we are trying to replicate, but it's still in an idea stage for now, to be honest. It's still in an idea stage. We are working on it for now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's an interesting point, that it's nice that it hasn't been perfected, but the good thing is that it's starting. That's the best thing to do as of the moment, because there are restrictions. So if you remember, during Gonzalo's breakdown of the session, we only run up till 2:50. So we're nearly done with the session, but I think I would like to ask our two remaining panelists something about their line of works, but something that connects with the both of them. So Allison founded Vision Zero and the Vision Zero Youth Council, and Bashiru OS Corp. So I would just like to ask, for youth and other leaders who are interested in starting something that is close to their advocacy, what is your advice on how these people can get started, and how their venture can succeed? So I think let's start with Allison.
That's a really, really good question. And I get asked that a lot, because everyone that I work with are youth looking to do exactly that. And my biggest piece of advice is looking for other youth near you who are interested in getting involved as well. And they don't have to be particularly known. They don't have to know about this issue, but the thing that's so amazing about peer-to-peer advocacy is that your passion for this issue and for trying to solve the issue is going to translate over to them, and they're going to feel that passion that you have, and they're going to be more inclined to join you and to help you fight the fight. So being true to your passions and trying to get that support system around you of people who you trust and who you know that you can really grow that local movement and build it from the ground up. And then just like network, like reach out to people. Social media was mentioned earlier. Social media is a great way to find other youth and professionals around you who are involved in the same issue, and connecting with them to see what exists, what doesn't exist, where the holes are, like what you can try to tackle. So doing both will really get you very, very far.
Wow, that's really good advice. I really like how you mentioned the power of peer-to-peer communication when it comes to promoting projects like this, because what better way to engage youth than if it comes from the youth themselves. So thank you very much, Allison. So Bashir, would you like to share some tips on our for our members and our participants?
Yeah, so when it comes to starting an enterprise or organization or anything else, I think you just have to start it, because like most young people, the problem they have is this, like, I don't have everything, I don't have the resources, I don't have, you know, like the office space, I don't have this, blah, 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 keep complaining or coming up with things that will actually stop them from not starting. Like for me, I started my business while I was working for someone else, even though it was just an internship or something like that, because I didn't actually have an actual job. So I was working on my startup, like a side project or something. And then while I was working on someone else's, I think you should also try to connect with people that actually know what you're doing, because even if you have an idea alone is nothing, to be honest. Nowadays, people fancy idea, but idea without education is nothing. So find people, maybe a mentor or someone that just have the passion that you have in what you're doing. Try to collaborate with them, just like Alison said. You watch out for people that, you know, they have strength, because even if you are the brainstorm of the idea, there are other things you're lacking. Like for me, sometimes I become really shy a bit when it comes to new people. So I look out for someone that I know that is good at reaching out to people, you know, gathering people. So you look out for, like, try to know your weaknesses and what you're doing first. When you know your weakness, then you look for people that you know that can not replace you, but can assist you. And also when they are assisting you, you should try learning from them, because they're not going to be there forever. Because I know everyone have a dream, so you should expect people to leave sometime at a point. So learn from them, and when you know, try to teach other people also.
Okay.
So I think collaboration is one of the key things that can help you in building anything you want to build, and start with whatever you have. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much to our panelists, Allison, Bashiru, and Tom Wine, for sharing what he shared during the first session. So this is where the Yours panel ends. Thank you so much to the amazing panelists. We learned a lot, and I hope this inspires the audience, the participants, to get involved and find their passion and just connect with the advocacy. And if you want to connect with the Global Youth Coalition, you know where to find us, www.claimingourspace.org. Thank you so much, everyone. That's it for the Yours panel.